What's up YouTube, Leon here, and today, let's get good at another rhythm game. And that, of course, is Muse Dash. You may ask, how is a 2-button rhythm game hard to get good at? Well, if you haven't dove deep enough into Muse Dash, it gets hard. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. So let's start with the basics. Let's get the options out of the way first. You can actually have up to 4 buttons per input. 4 is a little overkill, but have at least 2 buttons per input. This is very important for things I'll get into later. Next is offset. While the visual indicators give a rough idea of your monitor's offset, I still suggest to go in a game, try out a song, and come back to make finer changes. It may feel too minuscule to offset something by a few milliseconds, but it's huge when it comes to your actual accuracy. If it's kinda complicated to grasp, go left if you're early, and go right if you're late. Do your best to make this as accurate as possible. It'll help you out in the long run. And finally, in the display options, I go to BG brightness and set it to around 50% for visual clarity. This is something optional and it's up to you. Now let's get to the next step, and that's of course playing the game. And my god, there's a lot of stuff happening. Things are flying across the screen and your eyes keep getting tacked onto the huge moving objects. It kinda hurts. So the first thing is to move back. Distancing yourself from the screen will help your eyes focus on the bigger picture. If you don't have enough room or if your screen is too big, play the game in a window instead. Next is another important but also personal thing is where to look on the screen. This idea will be different from person to person, but within this general area is where I usually focus on. Because Muse Dash is very visually intensive and doesn't have a track speed setting, it'll depend on how fast the track is to where I hold my focus. You can kind of think of this like looking through a window in a moving car. It hurts your eyes to focus on the moving objects, so you focus on the glass instead. No color is another aspect to help you identify which track to input on. Blue and purple is up while pink and yellow is down. It's a simple thing that you might forget. You just have to keep that in mind. Difficulty selection is something to consider if you're plateauing. Let's say you're confident in level 7 tracks. You can beat them with your eyes closed. Then levels 8 and 9 are the ones you should focus on. Playing tracks above your skill level will let you see newer and harder patterns that the game will keep away from you at lower ones. Sure, there's the chance of losing, but that's something that you shouldn't be afraid of. Just like the age-old saying, we learn from failure. Speaking on difficulty, levels 10 and above vary greatly. Some level 10s are easier while others feel overly difficult. Once you reach this level, don't worry too much about accuracy, and just focus on getting by. Of course, at these higher difficulties, patterns start to get really difficult. And this is where technique becomes a major factor. Remember when you set at least 2 buttons for each input? This is where we need to break out of our comfort zone and try to alternate button presses. If you have a habit of only pressing 1 button per input, then you're gonna have to break out of this habit if you want to get over that hill. Rapid double and triple notes will get easier once you become accustomed to using 4 or more buttons. Unlike other traditional rhythm games, Muse Dash memorization is of a higher importance. For example, in other games, notes have a uniform look, so recognizing the same patterns carry over to other tracks. In Muse Dash, notes can come from the right, top, bottom, and from a boss attack. Because there are so many ways a note can appear, not to mention the note visuals, there's an emphasis on memorization. Instead of getting better at Muse Dash as a whole, it's more like getting better at a specific song instead. And the final tip I have for today is taking breaks. It's especially important for Muse Dash because of the visual intensity. Think of it more as a break for your eyes. Trust me, they'll need it. So those were a few tips that will hopefully help you get good at Muse Dash. If you have a few tips you want to share, why not tell me about them in the comments below. This is Leon from Humans Play, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.